And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I know a lot of people are so confused about the format, but I say, yeah, Saturday and Sunday I'm going to have guests, but sometimes when we have important people, we can adjust the timing. Now, I love to have sales personnel on the show. Now, it's a little weird because I have never had a sales personnel on the show. It's because I'm sort of intimidated by most of the other people. I'm in the game for about a year now, but when I see other people crushing it on the phone, I'm not jealous. Rather, I would say I want to learn from them. How do they do it? And I think once you get that mentality on lock, you know you're on the right track. So, my guest today, he has been doing sales for about a long time now. He got the skin on the game, if I may say. I'm sorry, the camera just turned off. But ladies and gentlemen, all the way from UK, Charles Stead.
Yeah, it's Stead, bro.
What's up, bud? Can you tell our guests a little bit about yourself, your experiences, and all that? I'm just gonna refresh my camera in the meantime.
No worries, bro. Try and powder your nose at the same time, yeah? So, my name's Charles Stead. Everyone pronounces it Steed, so I'm going to let him off. I'm a veteran in the game of cold calling, in the game of sales. Been doing it now for 18 years. I'm only 25 years old, though, so, you know, it's quite interesting. Obviously, I look 25 as well. And I've been cold calling since the age of 18. I've been doing it day in, day out. I've been in my industry since the age of 18, bro. I'm not going to give you the whole, I used to do a paper round, I used to sell cookies on a stand, lemonade on a stand, when I was 7 years old.
Does that count though? Does that count?
I don't think it does. It's just the parents, they just didn't want you in the house, and there was no iPads back then, So all these kids that were out selling cookies, the Girl Scout cookies, and all the kids on the lemonade stands, unsupervised by the parents, because the parents wanted to get them. Am I allowed to use profanity on this show, bro?
Absolutely. Fuck, piss, cunt. I don't give a fuck.
There we go. So the parents just wanted to get them the fuck out the house. But in this day and age, I got 5 children, and every single child has a device. And obviously, I say to the child, get the fuck in the corner of the room on the device. But there was no devices. I'd say, get the fuck on the lemonade stand. So for me, the whole story about I started at sales when I was 7. I was an entrepreneur at the age of 12. I was selling DVDs in school. I used to take things. Man, fuck all that bullshit, man. You gotta understand that at the age of 18, I got kicked out of my house by my mother. So at the age on my birthday, on my fucking birthday, right? So for me, my first proper job, it had to be a sales job, because it had to give me that flexibility and that realizing that potential type of attitude where I could just earn more money. So sales for me was always on the cards.
It's an interesting question, though. I mean, a lot of people might look down upon sales. Like, sales is not. I got a comment. They might say that good evening, sir. Somebody says that. Good evening to you too. We got another okay. Bye-bye. Just say hi, sir. Hi, everyone. So I know a lot of people might look down upon sales as it's you gotta have to hustle. You gotta have to live from paycheck to paycheck. Like, it's not a stable job. What do you have to say about that?
Well, sales, you're either buying or you're selling. So you're either selling your idea, your ideologies, your philosophies, or you're either selling your ideas or you're buying into somebody else's. And you can look at that from a political point of view. We've got these politicians that are trying to sell, their side of the argument, and then you've got religious points of view where people are trying to sell their religion, the features, the benefits of their religion, So you've got to think of it like sales, ever since you're a baby coming out of the womb, you're crying your eyes out. Why the fuck are you crying your eyes out? Because you want to be fed. So already you're a salesperson, because that person, the baby, that doesn't even.
So you're saying sales is innate? You're saying sales is innate?
Sales is intrinsic, 100%. And the reason why it is because you are literally either you're buying somebody else's idea or you're selling your own idea. And it's as simple as that. It actually doesn't get any simpler. And children are the greatest salespeople because they're the ones who don't even understand the word
The Girl
sales.
Scout cookies and all that.
No. Before that, you're talking about the
Before that?
3-year-old. 100%. You're talking about the 3-year-old that will kick off, over having a Happy Meal, and you're like, no, we're going to eat healthy. And then the kid throws a massive tantrum in the middle of a high street, and you're like,
so that tantrum is a sales pitch.
100%.
Like, mommy, I need. Oh my god.
Okay, well, look at it like this. Would you rather give the child what they want, or would you rather say, no, we're going to drag you through this street kicking and screaming? There's only so much kicking and screaming, you can get through. So fuck it. Give the kid the drink, give the kid the toy, give the kid whatever the fuck the kid wants. What does the kid want? The kid can have whatever it wants. So the kid, a child, is an incredible salesperson before, the Girl Scout cookies, before maybe the officialness of sales. Children are the greatest salespeople in the world, 100%. I've got 5.
So the question would be, I think a lot of people in my Facebook page, they, some of them might, go for an MBA in sales and marketing. I want to ask though, do you think it's absolutely necessary? Because there's certain companies, MNCs, multinational corporations, they need that, validation. The piece of paper is another validation. So what do you think about that?
Well, I'm not educated myself, so I'm only educated to a certain. I got kicked out of college my first year of college. So over here in the UK, you go up into year 11, which you're about 16 years old. You then go into further education. So you go into college. College is the age 16, 17, usually 2 years, and then you go to university. I was kicked out of college after about 9 months. I went back to college. I was kicked out again. For me, my education certificates is minimal to say the best. I've got 3 GCSEs, which is like the lowest. You're supposed to have like 11, so I had like 3. So for me, it was always on the cards to work hard. Now, I'm not trying to detract from the person who wants to get the MBA, the PhD, the masters, but I've got a friend of mine who would do anything to stop himself from getting an actual job. He would literally go from this educational certificate to the next educational certificate to the next educational certificate to the next educational certificate, and he'll have all these hours doing all this research, and in his field, and he'll be an expert in his field with no practical. I mean, they say it takes. You can look at the studies. They say it takes about 10,000 hours to be a professional, which I think roughly is about 7 years of 40 hours a week, roughly. So for me, I became a professional at sales when I was doing that day in, day out. You've seen me on the phones, bro. You know how I work on phones, and that's
so. I just wanted to show people, his Facebook page, the boiler room, the live 24 hours. Is that 24 hour though? Do you do live? Okay. Before we go and dive into it, a lot of people might not know what a boiler room is. So a boiler room. So I come from a news background, a journalism background. So like when we see people say newsroom, a boiler room is an office, sort of. It could be whatever it is, a small one or a big one, where there are sales personnel, like a call center and all that. What's the difference between a call center and a boiler room, though?
It's a similar thing, because a call center, I worked in a call center, and they had about 100 people to the floor. So there was 100 people working the phones. It's not, I've obviously known of call centers with a lot more people than that to a floor, but there was about 500 people in the actual building itself. There was thousands in another building across the road. I worked for one of the biggest insurance companies in the UK called Legal & General. They're one of the most prestigious, one of the most longest standing gas, electricity, life insurance companies, house insurance companies in the UK. So that's where, and I also worked for British Gas. I worked for British Gas, and that was pretty cool. That's where I learned the phonetical alphabet. So for me, in understanding what a boiler room is more. It could be perceived as a negative. I definitely don't think it is. What I've created in terms of the group, and what me and a few other people have created in terms of the boiler room, is we've created, and it says in the group description, it's a safe haven for cold callers from all over the world to come home. It's a place where they can come and they can be amongst their peers. They can be old timers like myself, or they could be newbies. You said you're a year in sales, so that you're a baby in terms of hours of doing it. Which it is what it is. So for me,
it is. It's true. It's true.
Well, if you look into the cold calling pros group, there's no advertising. There's no marketing. Mm-hmm. We shut down posts. I mean, how quickly have you seen people be shut down when it comes to looking for cold callers and jumping in the group? I mean, I've shut down posts within 2 minutes.
It's hard though. I mean, I agree with you. Like, a lot of people might think, oh, sales is easy. You just have to show up to the job. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm doing market research. So at the moment, I'm working on working for a company called Auto Parts, CQPAutoparts.com. It's an American automobile industry. What the do I know about automobile? American automobile, that too. It's quite different from the Indian automobile industry. So I need to start from the scratch. I don't know anything about cars. I have to do market research, then call hundreds of people on a daily basis. Now, if that doesn't take skill, I don't know what takes skill.
It's well, what you got to understand is that skill is one thing. I have a lot of talent on the phone. You know, I've got a lot of talent. I look into the psychology of cold calling. So I love the relationship, the tonality, you know, the matching, the mirroring. I love all that. But what you got to understand is that hard work will beat talent when talent doesn't work. So you can have all the skill in the world, but what, in my opinion, when it comes to cold calling, you need to have other attributes. You need to have determination. You need to have will. You know, you need to have desire. You need to have a bit of passion. You need to have enthusiasm. You need to be yourself. So these attributes are things that people don't really talk about because they talk about the script. Everybody wants to have the perfect script. Everybody wants to have the perfect product or service. You know, everybody wants to have that perfect ability to. Oh, you've got to catch your attention within the first 5 seconds. You know, how do you do it, Charles? Well, the difference is between me and you, for example, is that I've got the knowledge and the experience, but I've also got the confidence to know that I will outwork you. So you just said then you make a couple of hundred calls a day. Now, I personally, I've done that on multiple occasions, made a couple of hundred calls, but I will outwork you. So say you work 9 to 5. I will work 8:55 till 5:05. So it's that mentality of making one last call. It's that mentality of getting on the phones, making the first call, being rejected. This is another thing as well that we discuss quite a lot about in the group, is about rejection. Now, for me, cold calling as a niche of sales, if you like, it's one of these areas of sales that people believe it's archaic. People believe that it doesn't work. There's better methods of selling. Now, for me personally, it gives you abilities that you can take in an outside environment, into the real world, into social settings. So, for example, you're in a club, okay? And I give this example quite a lot. I haven't been in a club for a long time, so I'm going to give you, 15 years ago, you know. So you're in a club, you're dancing, you know, you dance with a girl, and you got to ask for a number, or you got to ask for a dance, whatever. And you go up to her, you know, would you like to dance? Would you like a drink? Would you like a, you know, whatever. The girl says no. The fuck are you going to do? Well, you're obviously going to go home crying to your boys, saying that, oh, you wasn't even interested in her anyway. Fuck her. Well, somebody like me, who's already been rejected 99 times out of 100 to get that one sale. So I've already been rejected 99 times between, 9 and 5, for example. You know, I'm there dancing next to a girl. You know, would you like a drink? No. Okay. Next girl. Yo, would you like a drink? No. Okay. Next girl. Do you want to dance? Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, cool. So I'm there dancing with a girl where my boys have gone back to the table.
That's a more of a Jordan Belfort approach, if I may say, because Grant Cardone used to say you gotta have to stick to every call and trying to make every call make work, or Belfort says that you need to make the numbers are more important. The more you make.
The numbers don't lie. Yeah, the numbers don't lie. So for me, you got to understand that Babe Ruth was one of the greatest baseball players ever. He had one of the best strike rates of all time, but he also had he had the strikeouts. He had the most strikeouts. Michael Jordan has missed the most shots. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's also made the most shots. So it's the person who's willing to get up to the plate over and over and over again. I mean, I've got a motivational poster on my wall. I've got one that says hustle, and it says it's the ability to be repetitive over and over and over again to attain a goal. So you hear me on the phones. My script is so fucking tight that there's 3,000 people in the group, and I bet you half of them can they know my script better than me.
But how do you come up with a script though? How do you design the script?
11 years ago, it was very, very simple. Whatever works. Whatever works works. So if it works,
so you have that 11 years ago
hasn't changed, barely changed.
But how did you decide that this is going to be my script?
So the first day that I did cold call sales for Inc., for example, I called up this lady and I said, I'm looking for the person who was the Inc., whatever. She said, stop calling me. You guys keep calling me. And I'm like, listen, lady, it's my first day. I said, I don't even know what I'm selling, which was the truth. I didn't even know what a toner cartridge was, what an ink cartridge was, what a printer was. I didn't even know what I was selling. I was actually.
You called the customer and you say it. No, hold on a second. You call the customer and you say, "I don't even know what I'm selling."
No, the woman's having a go at me. The woman's saying to me, "Stop calling me," and I'm like, I'm not. It's my first day. I don't even know what I'm selling for you to have a go at me. So what I understood was that this lady is clearly getting a lot of calls. So I thought to myself, okay, Charles, what can I say? What can I do to be different from the other cold callers? But the interesting thing with me is at the beginning of the call, I do not differentiate call to call. I say the same fucking line, and I usually say it in the same way. The only time I differentiate is when a gruff voice comes on the phone. Hello. And then I'll deepen my voice. So you got to think that's the psychology. I've got to try and overpower the person from a vocal point of view, from a verbal point of view.
Do you get nervous? Do you get nervous when still though?
No, genuinely, because I'm not trying to be. No, come on, you've seen me, man. I mean, what am I getting?
I know you're a beast. Like I've seen. I know a lot of people. Can I speak in the mother tongue so that a lot of people they have trouble understanding?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So আজকে আমরা সেলস লইয়া কথা কমু আমার লগে আছে যে 18 years লইয়া তাইনে সেলস করতেছে and he's a goddamn beast. There you go. He can slay anyone he wants, কারণ experience hustling এটা আমরা এক দুইজন মিলে করতে পারতাম না সো কারোর যদি কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকে please ask it on the comment section কারণ please don't miss this opportunity. Everybody is saying hi, hello. Come on, it's not a place to say hi, hello. Okay, we don't get guests like him every single day. Okay, he's one of my dream guests. So let's ask him some. Let's drill through his brain of his. Okay, Charles. So what I was saying, I know you don't ever get nervous. But don't you like? Sometimes when there is especially when it comes to cold calling. When you don't know who's going to pick up the phone. It might be the secretary. It might be the goddamn fucking, I don't know, the driver. How do you deal with that?
So currently I'm staying in a really, really nice hotel room in the centre of Cardiff. And there's a place called Queen Street, which is the longest high street in Wales. And outside of Queen Street, God's honest truth, I could get, okay, not butt naked. I'll get into my boxer shorts and I will run down the street, okay? Listen to me. I'll run down the street and people will look, people will stare, people will laugh, people will laugh amongst themselves. They will point, and I'll run to the end of the street and then I'll turn left and I'll be gone. Okay, so let me ask you this. I then come back to the hotel room. So I come all the way back to the hotel room. I come back in the room, put on my clothes. Let me ask you this. Their opinions and their thoughts and the way they reacted, how has that affected me? I'm back in the hotel room. So the point is, you just cannot give a shit about what other people think of you. So it's living your life with dogma. It's like what Steve Jobs said.
Let me tell you this. For the first time, my Facebook page is shooting up right now. So you get like almost 2K. I just started doing Facebook advertisement for my services about 2-3 days ago. All right. So I teach English and, mindset, entrepreneurship, everything like that. So, I teach it to the local people in the local dialect, using Bengali and that. So the thing is, I have had like 500. I've had like about 700 likes, reactions on the ad. About 100 of them are fucking haha reacting. And at first it got under my skin and it kept on getting under my skin because I thought, holy shit, these guys genuinely think that they're better than me. Although I look into their profile and I see they have a miserable fucking life. But they're quick to judge other people. Then I think to myself, the reason they have a miserable fucking life, it's because they judge other people for no fucking reason. And I agree with you, but still, well, the young entrepreneurs watching this, who's gonna have that first Facebook ad, first Google ad, and face the heterogeneous fucking vultures. What you gonna suggest to them?
Success and failure are entwined. Love and hate are entwined. You can't have love without hate. You can't have hate without love. And you can't have success without failure. You can't have failure without success. Don't give up. Don't give in. Stop doing Facebook ads. Get the fuck on the phone. Don't be a pussy. Don't do Facebook ads. Get on the phone. Get on the blower. Get on the blower. Ring up the person and say, listen, my name's Sarav. I do this advertising. Can I send you an email with some price? Whatever the fuck it is. You got to learn. learn that you've got to have some cojones. You know, you genuinely you've got to have some balls. Like this is not me.
Yes,
This is real talk now. Like I'm trying. You know, I'm taking this as an opportunity to be straight with people. You know, you've got to stop being such a pussy. And the reason being is because, like I said, all this crowd that's outside, they're gonna go home. They're gonna get on with their lives. And do you know what? We only remember. I think it's something like we only remember 7% of what was 10% of what was said 10 minutes after it was said. Every single fucking word that I say right now in the next 30 seconds, you're only going to remember 10% of it, and that's 10 minutes after it was said. So you're only going to remember 10% of what I fucking said.
You're right.
And honestly, that's why self-development.
All the fucking haters.
But you got fuck yeah.
All the fucking exactly. All the
fuck the haters.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. Are they paying your bills, bro? Are they knocking your door?
Absolutely. That's what I say. That's exactly what I say when people ask me, dude, I can't do it. Everybody's judging me. The fucking girlfriend hates me. Dude, they're not going to pay your bills.
100%. I personally, I like my own posts. And the reason I like my own posts on Facebook is because I have to like it to cover the person that looked at my post, seen the value, and was jealous of the post, and they didn't like the post. So whenever you see Charles Stead liking his own post, there's a reason behind that, bro. You know, I also think as well with these laughing emojis that you see, you know, you got to understand that people are just not confident. They're just not confident as you, bro. You know. So Rav, where the fuck you gone, bro? There you are. God, he's back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He is back. He is back. But listen, I see you with these interviews, and what you got to understand is that there's very, very few people, very, 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 very few people. You're in a 1%, you're in a 2%, you're in a 5% minority of people when you do interviews, when you're trying to create something that is clearly a vision, you're trying to turn it into a reality. It's clearly quite tough to build an audience, to give content.
Absolutely.
You know, it takes this is what I go back to. The determination, the desire, the will, the passion. It goes back to perseverance, because what you got to understand is this. It's very, very simple. Very, very simple. It's three things. Okay. It's the discipline to get on the phones every single day, even if you don't want to. It's the discipline to do it every single day. It's the accountability that I do when I do it live. And you see me do, well, I've done.
Absolutely. The uniqueness, that's your USP. I've never seen someone do it.
The consistency.
Yeah, and you do it as well every day as well.
Consistency.
It's your USP. I don't know if you realize that, but you know,
I took a week off. I took a week off the social media, not off the phones. I took a week off my Facebook, took a week off my Messenger, and everybody thought that I died. Genuinely.
I mean, I think one of the best things about sales. So I was a guy. So I was in journalism for about 4 years now. Okay, I am as well 25 years old. Okay, but I was doing I was in the journalism field for about 3 years. I found sales accidentally. I couldn't handle the newsroom anxiety, but I think it's weird. Somehow I was able to handle the boiler room anxiety. I think part of it was my location. I was able to do sales from my own, the vicinity of my own goddamn room. You can do sales from anywhere. You can do it from your fucking bathroom taking a shit.
So basically, how I set up my own company is 40 months ago. Okay, so I've just had my best month in 40 months. When I first set up my company, I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have a laptop. I had a borrowed laptop. I had to use my partner's bank account. I was on a rickety old stool. Now I'm a prop weight. I don't know if in India you know much about rugby, but let's just say that I'm a big guy. That's all you need to know, really. You know, the store was moving from side to side, if you catch my drift. And also I used my house phone. Okay, and then I had an Excel spreadsheet of contacts to call. So basically, I had a no excuses type of mentality. Now I've also made calls, and it's documented on my Instagram. I don't use Instagram anymore, but it is documented on it. I made calls out of IKEA. Here in the UK, in Wales, I made calls out of IKEA for about 2 months. I've made calls out of Starbucks, McDonald's, and Costa, and I've also made calls out of the back of my car overlooking Cardiff Bay, and I've got pictures from years.
A lot of people don't get it, though. I mean, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't get the mobile agility. You know what I'm saying?
100%. It's incredible. But, see, you can literally work. I could come and sit in your office, in your room, in your house, and I could run my business that is based in the UK.
But I think one of the problems is that, especially in India, I think there are certain cities. So I am from a very small town in the northeastern part of India. It's called Udaipur. The state is Tripura. It's a beautiful place. There are trees, and there are birds chirping and all that. Great. But sometimes the internet is jack shit. Now it's better. So thank God I belong to an era where I don't have to face those problems. I can literally pick up the phone, get a VO, voice over IP, whatever it is.
That's what I've
just,
got. I've got a VoIP. Yeah, I got a VoIP system.
Your voice system.
So for me, it would come down to your reason why. So everybody talks about the reason why. Everybody talks about the reason why. Now, if you have children, you put it on your children. You shouldn't do that.
You got 5 kids, right?
Yeah, but I don't listen. My kids are fine, bro. My kids have got iPads upon iPads. Like they got fucking shit stacked up. I got fucking 2 Xboxes in the office. I got 2 32-inch tellies, 1 43-inch telly on the wall. They got fucking my 2 boys who are 5 and who are 3 and 8. They've got fucking Jesus Christ. They've had no clothes for a long time, but I just bought them like 6, 7 Jordan tracksuits each. Every single thing that I have, that's Jordan, because I'm going through a Jordan phase. Every single trainer. My boys have got these trainers. Like they got.
That's an original Air Jordan. Wow.
No. That's an Aura, bro. Don't give me that credit, man. That's an Aura. It's a nice Aura. Yeah, it's an Aura, man. You'll know when I got the original, bro. I wouldn't even fucking show you. But what I'm saying to you is this, okay? I could easily sit here and say,
does the bling help? Does the bling help?
I haven't had anything in years. That's why I'm having a bit of a blowout. So don't just ignore that because I don't do fashion. But I've just had a bit of a blowout. I've just had a bit of a crazy period. But ignore all that. The point I'm trying to make to you is I can sit here and say the reason I make calls at 7 a.m., the reason I call until 8 p.m. is because of my children. It's because of my children. It's because of my children. I want to have a better life for my children. Bro, my kids are so fucking good that at the moment they're acting selfish. They're acting greedy because I've already given my kids so much. You understand? So it's got to be deeper. It's got to be more intrinsic than that. So my reason why, for example, is that my father was, his name is Peter Stead. If anybody Googles it, you can, Peter Stead, architect, S-T-E-A-D, architect. He's the second one down. He's got an obituary in the Guardian. He was born in 1922. He was a fighter pilot in World War II, decorated fighter pilot. He fought over Burma for Britain. As a flight lieutenant, got a letter off King George. People don't know about King George. Got a letter off King George. He got all the medals, the Distinguished Flying Cross medal, and then he became an architect. And he was actually a renowned architect. He got taken over to America. He built and designed houses himself. Now these houses are worth about £500,000. So my reason why, the reason why I go beyond what I should be going, is because I want to buy these houses and I want to put them into my children's names. So it's not about putting food on a table, because with the greatest amount of respect to anybody who's from the UK who's listening to this, the fucking score. The government will fucking sort you out. You don't have to work in the UK and you can get some fucking Nike Jordans. So the point is, you don't have to work and you will still get some shit in the UK.
Does that harness help you? The mentality.
Well, for me, you've got to understand that if you can be if you don't have to have a job and you can still put food on the table, then that makes you, in my opinion, that makes you soft. So it's very difficult in my position, whereas my business is going up and I'm becoming more successful and things like that. It's very difficult. I think there's a saying that one of the Hagler, I think Marvin Hagler, one of the boxers, and he said something along the lines of, it's difficult to go for road runs when you're wearing silk pajamas, and Anthony Joshua said the same thing. And everyone was like, why the fuck would Anthony Joshua go into camp for 12 weeks when he's one of the most, well-paid boxing superstars potentially of all time? Like, why the fuck would you go into a training camp and kill yourself? For what? You've already got the money in the bank. So for me, you've got to find it, and this is my advice to people. Don't go for the easy option of, my mum's ill, my kids, I want a better life for my kids, I want to buy a house. You've got to go for something deeper. You've got to find a meaning. You've got to find a purpose. And then when you found that purpose, you've got to go after it. You really have to go after it. So I've got a motivational picture up on my wall of a lion, and it says, everybody wants to eat, but few are willing to hunt. So what happens is, Sarav, and I'm going to be honest with you, bro, about 6 o'clock, I'll sit there, maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I'll sit there and I'll literally say to myself, I'll have an out-of-body experience and I'll say to myself, this is where champions are made. Like, this is where champions are made. And I'll get back on the phones and I'll make one more power hour when I'm tired, when things are going on in my life. I've got 5 children. You think, my life is so hectic, it's crazy, so how the fuck do I knuckle down and do another power hour after I've already done 5, 6, 7, 8 power hours? How do I do it? How do you do it, John?
What is a power? Can you define for the people who don't know what a power hour is?
Very simple. Power hour is very simple. Just get your head down, 60 minutes, no distractions, put your phone away, and get the fuck on the phone. Make as many phone calls as you can. Make sure they're quality phone calls. Don't worry too much about the numbers. Everybody worries about the numbers. I've made 300 calls today. I've made 200 calls today. It doesn't matter. You go for the quality, but obviously the quantity helps. Don't
You
go
gotta
for
close.
the quality.
A, B, C. Always be closing.
Oh, 100%. So a power hour is just very simple. I got it from a Jeb Blount book, the sales handbook. I think.
Charles, can I say one of this quickly, dude? I mean, for all the people watching this show, dude, I love sales, man. I stumbled upon this career. It was by accident. I'm from a background that I never thought. I also was a guy who like looked down upon salespeople. Thought, oh, I mean, they're just they're living from paycheck to paycheck. And now I know this is the only profession where if you work hard, if you keep your head down, you make more phone calls, quality phone calls, you keep on closing, do everything right, and if you have the charisma and you have that communication, the gift of the gab, if I might say, if you have that, you're gonna make shit ton of money with this. And this is one of the most gifting careers.
You can dictate your own way. So when you say that you look down on salespeople, you got to understand is that you're doing market research, for example, okay? But at the moment, because you're researching your market and you're trying to figure out who you need to call. Is it a CFO? Is it is it a CEO? Is it the manager? Is it the marketing manager? Who is it I need to speak to? Is it the receptionist? Whatever the fuck it is. And what you've got to understand is that with salespeople, the world would not go round without salespeople, because like I said, going back to politicians are salespeople, because they're trying to sell you an ideal, they're trying to sell you a philosophy, they're trying to sell you a way of living. This is what they're trying to do. So for me, salespeople you might think of as people who sell door to door, and they just sell solar, or they sell merchant processing. A lot of my friends sell merchant processing and solar, whatever, or they go on the phones and they sell digital advertising or whatever the fuck it is. And you might look at a salesperson like that. That's fine, but without these people, the world would not continue to spin. The world wouldn't continue to spin. We're on the front line. Salespeople are on the front line.
Charles,
cold calling salespeople even more.
May I ask you another question? Like, what about the sick days? Like, what I worry about, and I ask it from a very Indian standpoint. A lot of people in India, hate the private sector, the corporate sector. They also want to. The only way you can get government security in this country is like proper government security is to get on a government paycheck, like get a government job. So a lot of people, it's an industry. Millions of people just study hard just to get that job. Now, the corporate sector is also rewarding. It has a lot of. I'm talking from a very Indian standpoint. So the question is that mentality, living from paycheck to paycheck. For example, I lost my older sales job because of the pandemic. The company got shut down. Forget about me. I didn't get fired. The company got shut down. So. It's scary. It's the scariest time. So the Indian mentality says, what if, you get sick, and can you still make phone calls if you have a serious illness and, you're fucking in between jobs and all that, those distractions?
There's a saying that I live myself by. If it's to be, it's up to me. And it's as simple as that. If you want to make something happen, it's down to you. It's down to your effort. It's down to your motivation. It's down to you. It is literally down to you. So you say you can make calls when you're sick. I mean, I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't recommend it, because, it's not something that, you should be making calls when you're sick, because you need to be 100%. But then again, if your rent needs to be paid and you need to make 100 calls to make that sale that would pay the rent, and then you keel over and practically die, but you've paid the rent, then I would say I got respect for you, 100,000,000%. I've made so many calls. I get tonsillitis every couple of years, and when I get tonsillitis, it closes up my throat. I have to go to the hospital, and they try and stick me in the hospital overnight. They put me on a drip. That was the last time I was in hospital, February 2018, and I was on a drip. And I remember walking around the hospital on the drip, and I couldn't even speak. Yet I still had to run my business. I still had to receive calls coming through, because my partner couldn't, she couldn't deal with the calls, because I had so many calls coming through. Not a huge amount of calls, but I had enough calls that she was at home with 4 kids, trying to deal with these calls about ink, and she doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on. And these guys need their ink. These customers need their ink. So I'm on the phone trying to make things happen. So like I said, if it's to be, it's up to me. You need to do it for yourself. You need to do it for yourself 100%. It can be done. You can succeed at anything. You can succeed at anything you put your mind to it.
I don't think, I think you could learn a lot from the sales mentality. If you want to hustle hard in your life, it doesn't matter if you are in a hardcore sales process or not, you need this skill. But I guess I'm going to ask right now a very basic sales question. It's now everywhere, from television. Sell me this pen. How would you do that?
I see that toner inside there. That's a Samsung Express printer, and the toner inside there is an MLTD-1S. It does 1,000 prints. I sell it for £25. I buy it for about £9.84, and I make about £15 profit. I'll sell you one of those toners, bro. Fuck the pen.
But you're not gonna sell this pen.
I ain't gonna sell that pen. That's a Jordan Belfort line, and Jordan Belfort can keep it. What I want to sell you is the fucking toner, bro.
Oh, see, now I get it. Like you're charming, and as well. Does the charm help? Does the wit help when it comes to making calls?
I don't think so at all. I think what you got to understand is I use a lot of humor. One of my lines is, when people say to me, Sarav's not in at the moment, can I take your number? And the first thing I say is, it's Tuesday afternoon. You haven't even offered to buy me a drink, and you're asking for my number. Been using that line for 11 years, and it works about 99.9% of the time. It didn't work the other day where I said it to the girl on the phone, and she kind of laughed, and then about 5 minutes later, this guy called and said, "Hi, you just called my garage or whatever," and I said, "Yeah, thanks for calling me back so quickly." He said, "Yeah, you asked my daughter out for a date." I went, whoa. I said, I don't know where you got that from. And I said to him, listen, it works 99% of the time. I'm in sales, I'm doing the cold calls, I run my own business. And that line, it gets my foot in the door. You wouldn't even believe, because I use humor as a foot in the door. And he said, I think you should consider changing the line. I said, why? He said, because, you've used the line and, it sounds like you've asked my daughter for the date. I said, listen, no disrespect to you. I said, I'll apologize in a second, but let me explain this before I apologize. That line works 99% of the time. Now, if a line works 99% of the time, I'm not going to stop using it because 1% of the person isn't happy with it. I said, if you're not happy with it, I fully understand. I appreciate it. I apologize to yourself and I apologize to your daughter if you've taken that line wrong. But in 11 years of 100 cold calls a day, which is about roughly 25,000 cold calls a year, 99% of people laugh at that line. In actual fact, some people even say to me, where do you live in Cardiff? Because I'll take you out for a drink, mate. And I say it to males and females. It's a good fucking line. It's a good line.
It's a good line. Yeah,
you laughed at it. It's a good line. And this is what I'm saying to you earlier. Whatever works. That line, it works. And I say to people on the phone, they say, oh, Sarav isn't in at the moment. Okay, is he any good on email or is he better on the telephone? They want to get you the fuck off the phone, so they say, yeah, email address is sarav.blah@virgin.net. Get the fuck off my phone. Yeah, no problem. And then you've got some information. So for me, it's about understanding that you've got to use your personality. It's not about charm. It's not about wit. It's not about, speed of thought. It's more about just using the attributes that you have, not that Charles Stead has. You've got to use your own stuff, if that makes sense.
So what about sales guru? All the sales gurus say, hey, come buy my course.
Come on, man. Listen. We put up a post in the Cold Calling Pros group. It's the biggest cold calling group in social media, and it was the biggest at 500 members. It's now 3,100. And one of the admin guys, Bronson, he put up a post and said, listen, if any sales gurus out there want to do an hour of cold calling live, then they can put up some marketing posts for a day or something like that. And everyone's wanted to be putting up these advertising posts for 18 months since the group started. And he put up this post, not one person got back to him. So whoever, there's an old saying, whoever can't do teach.
And it bothers me as well. By the way, please tumra question ask karo, karon we don't get him every single day. Come on, about sales, marketing, how to sell your fucking self. Come on, okay. But what I want to ask you, I understand, but the marketability of it as well. I also wanted to do something. I got inspired by you a lot. So because I work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. It's 12 hours.
Yeah.
At a stretch. So I think I have a good webcam. I'm gonna do something similar. I'm gonna record it, and if I have a good close, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 great close when I'm just, I'm fluid like hell. I'm just gonna market the shit out of it, and say, hey, I can do this, and let my, followers see that. But how do you differentiate? What's the difference between that marketable content and the people who just blatantly say, I'm a sales guru, sell me this pen?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I don't do any. I've never done any advertising. I've never done any marketing. I've done everything purely off the back of cold calling, so I might not be the best person to ask. In regards to these sales gurus, it's a difficult one because if you look at sales, you can look at the old school guys, you can look at Og Mandino, you can look at Zig Ziglar, you can look at Brian Tracy, you look at the philosophical side, you can look at Jim Rohn, you can look at the motivational side, you can look at Les Brown. You look at these people. And Tony Robbins, the mastery of the psychology of relationship building. You look at Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, in my eyes, isn't a sales guy per se, but he's somebody that understands that sales happens in any interaction where you've got two ideals. Another thing I want to say as well, you've got to understand that there's a difference between persuasion and influence. So, for example, there's a saying: a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So let me repeat that. A man convinced against his will, a man or woman, convinced against his will, is of the same opinion still. And what that means is, if I'm drilling my point home and I'm really going for it and I'm saying, Sarah, this is what you need to do, this is the perspective you need to have, blah, 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 and you're there and you're just there, nodding your head, nodding your head, nodding your head. As soon as that conversation finishes, you're not going to change your perception, you're not going to change your viewpoint, you're not going to change your standpoint. So what you need to do is you need to learn the ability to persuade. And the ability to persuade is really interesting. You should always do it from an ethical point of view. But the art of persuasion is so beautiful because you've got to get that person to change their perspective. And you've got to do it in such a way that they feel they're part of that change. Instead of being ram it home, like you've got to change it. It's wrong. Your way of thinking is wrong. You're a Catholic and I'm a Muslim. You need to think about how Muslims act and the Quran and this and that and that and that. You're wrong. You're a Christian, you're a Catholic, whatever the fuck it is. So my point is, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Do not try and convince somebody to buy your product or service. Persuade them to buy your product and service. Show them the value. You are paid on the value you give to the marketplace. You're paid on the value.
So let me ask you this: who do you prefer, Grant Cardone or John Belfort?
I used to follow both. I've got to a point now where I'm about 20 years younger than both of them. Initially, I loved Grant Cardone's energy. I still love it now. I love Jordan Belfort's. He's such a confident guy. He's really smooth. The straight line persuasion system is probably the best sales training program of all time. I've done the 4.0 and I've been told it's even better. But in terms of comparing the two, because I did watch the podcast between the two, you're looking at two people. But they let their ego get in between what could have been an incredible conversation. It could have been one of the best podcasts of two salespeople of all time. Jordan Belfort and Grant Cardone together in a room would have been beautiful. But the point is, they let their egos and their narcissistic tendencies to really get away from it. And I get it. I got kicked out of the Jordan Belfort's group for calling the admin a cocksucker. So
I watch Wolf of Wall Street at least once a month. At least I revisit the scenes. It's so fucking motivating. Sell me this pen and this and that. I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah, 100%.
And that scene, my God. I mean, but the thing is, though, I know it's all glitz and glamour. It's Hollywood, but the reality is sales is tough. Like, for example, when you always want to procrastinate. Especially 100%. When you're especially when you're starting out, you want to procrastinate. I'm going to make this phone call 1 minute later, and it's difficult. Once you get hold of that procrastination, and if you start working, on that, but it's difficult.
It's the resiliency.
Absolutely.
You need resiliency. Yeah, I didn't mention resiliency as much. I mentioned the other attributes: the determination, the will. The nature that you need to be good in sales. The resiliency. I talked about the rejection, but it's the resiliency of knowing you're going to be rejected, and it's okay because there's another book, Go for No, and the more no's you get, the closer you get to a yes. And it's so true. The stats do not lie. The numbers do not lie. And this is why you need to go through the numbers at a pretty quick rate. You get onto a quality call, fantastic. Come off the call, you've made the sale, brilliant. Pat yourself on the back, get the fuck on the phone, make some more calls. But it all depends on perspective because your idea of success may be time freedom. So you might want to make sales by 3 o'clock to go home and spend time with your family, where my idea of success may be financial freedom. So I might have to work until 7 p.m., 4 hours more to get more money in the bank because I want financial freedom. You might want time freedom. So for me, it's all about the perspective of the person. Every single person in this world, there's 7 billion people in this world.
What's the career growth in sales? What's the career growth in sales? What's the best?
I think from my research on sales, I think it's always one of the best paid jobs you can have without any qualifications. Absolutely. It is. I think it probably is the best paid career you can have without.
But it's interesting that you mention it though, because one of the problems that I faced. So I'm gonna be blatant here. The reason I got the job is because of my accent, and a lot of people thought because a lot of people don't have the Americanized accent. So the recruiter thought, oh, he sounds American, so maybe he could pitch with like where's it like and stuff like that. So he said, okay, you got the job. I don't have a fucking sales background, but I think one of the biggest complaints that I got from my recruiters is that it is great. You can get people for very cheap amount. You can put them on a miniature paycheck, and they're gonna make the numbers. They're gonna make a lot of phone calls, but they're not gonna be quality phone calls. But then again, it's about the communication techniques, the persuasion techniques that you use. The guy needs to be hungry, and most importantly, you cannot use broken fucking English. Talking to an Englishman, talking to a guy.
But even then, if you see my phone calls, bro, I'm calling the north of England, and I can't understand a fucking word they say. I call the north of Wales, and it sounds like, with all due respect, it sounds like I'm talking to a fucking sheep. So for me, but shit is real. Shit is real for a British person to be ringing in Britain. It is still difficult. Have you heard the Scottish accent? Have you heard the Scottish accent? I sold to this guy, and I genuinely didn't understand a fucking word he said, but I was listening for the toner code. That's what I was listening for. I was listening for the toner code, and then I was like, yeah, £25, £5 delivery. So yeah, go on, I'll have 2 of them.
So would you suggest all the all the people get inspired? Would you suggest them to work on their English? Start from
no. I wouldn't say so. I think they need to work on their mental game. There's another guy that I follow closely who I've actually met. Incredible to meet him. I've hugged him. I've shook in his hand. Is a guy called Derek Thomas. He's the #1 motivational speaker in the world. You need to work on your mentality. So for me, life is 90% mental, 90% mental, maybe if not more. So you've got to understand that. Yeah, I get it. Work on your broken English. Yeah, that's fine. But if you've got it inside, okay, I'll give you an example. Here in Cardiff, it's a multicultural city. I can go into the Queen Street or whatever, and there's this guy selling fucking, I don't know, Apple AirPods, cheap AirPods. £20, $20, whatever the fuck it is. The guy can barely speak English. English. I go up to him and I say, how much is it? He can barely fucking understand me, but he knows I'm talking about fucking money. Now he says £20. Now I say, I ain't got £20, mate. I got 15. He says, no, 20. And I say, I only got 15. And then he says, 2 for 30.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So money is something that is a universal language. And I'll also give another example as well, which is a very, very interesting example. It's about motivation. And I'll give you an example about motivation. And this, you'll really, really like this example. It's a really good example. Okay. So what motivates most people? We'll use an example. We'll be sexist. We'll use men as the example. What motivates most men? To impress the fucking women. So you've got broken English, you're making excuses, you're not getting on the phones, you're not doing what needs to be done, you've got all these reasons, all these excuses that you're not being successful. That's fine, that's not a problem. And then your boss comes to you and says, listen, you can take out the prettiest girl in the office if you make 100 calls a day over the next 5 days.
Whoa, that's huge. Of course, everyone's going
to. Are you going to make 100 calls a day over the next 5 days to take the prettiest girl out?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It comes down to a matter of motivation, not a matter of skill. It comes down to a matter of, you now perceive that as, I got to get fucking moving, baby. And it's the same with money. The boss can come to you and say, you can have 1,000 fucking rupees or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Is 1,000 rupees a lot of money or is it not a lot of money?
So people should find their stimulus if you want. That's what you mean.
100%. You got to understand that it's all about motivation. It's all about motivation. You can get somebody moving if it's about motivation. Somebody wants to lose weight. Somebody wants to eat healthy.
Absolutely, it's about the mindset.
Financial changes. It's about the
mindset. Same thing. I say when people come to me trying to learn English and all that. It's about the goddamn mindset, dude.
Of course it is.
Okay, I'm gonna tweak it up. I'm gonna get that curiosity. You don't need to buy any courses. That's why I keep it free and fuck. I just want to make a community out of it and get a lot of more people talking about it, and that's it.
A little bit like the cold calling pros.
Absolutely,
what have I sold in the cold calling pros? Have I done a book? Have I done a course?
No. It's an amazing. Amazing group.
3,100 people, 3,100 cold
Amazing
callers,
group.
and I haven't sold a single thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's not going to be a course, there's not going to be a book, there's not going to be something of monetary value. But what I'm saying for now, at least for the foreseeable future, this group is going to grow and it's going to grow and it's going to grow. And I'm going to make sure that the head of it and the guys who help me and support me, the admins, the moderators, and also the members itself, it's a community of people. It's not just about Charles Stead and that's it. It's a community of people. And I got to be honest with you, cold calling is very, very tough. Now, if you think that I make it look easy, it's because I'm the person who's willing to do it. I've done cold calling. You look on my Facebook page or you look on certain places. I've done cold calling at 5 o'clock in the morning in the dark. You know, it's what you do in the fucking dark when there's no cameras on you and there's nobody watching you. What is your effort then?
That is so true, man.
What is your effort then when no one's even watching? Because you got to look at, okay, so I become accountable when I press the live button. I press the live button. I make thousands of lives a year. I press the live button. I'm in the Tony Robbins comeback group. There's 300,000 people. I press the live button. I get a lot of people watching me in that group. But the point is, what happens when I turn off the live? What do I do? Do I make another power hour, or do I go and chill on my Xbox and play on FIFA? Because I got FIFA in the office, you know. So it does come down to that as well. 100,000,000%, you know.
Well, speaking of power hours, I just might, need to go on the power hour in a couple of minutes myself, and I'm nervous, but I want to say this interaction really did help me a lot. We almost touched the hour mark, so we're gonna part this. But before we do that, Charles, any parting remark you want to say to the people watching the show?
I just want to say to anybody watching the show that Sarav is somebody that I think is extremely hardworking. He's got a vision. He's got passion. He's got a lot of value to give. You need to listen to this guy. You need to follow this guy. You need to support this guy. If you're watching him on a live, press the like button, press the fucking heart button, the hug button, the fucking love button, the angry button, the sad button, the laughing button, whatever emoji you have under your screens. I know you fucking have it. Press it. Give him some support, give him some love, give him some comments, like the comments. It's all about the algorithms. You know, he may not be getting the views that he deserves because Facebook keep the algorithms down. But you need to support this guy, because this guy could move from this platform onto Twitch, or he could move from Twitch onto Periscope, or he could move from Periscope onto Instagram Live. You know, this guy is going to be moving around. You know, he's not going to be staying on Facebook. You need to keep this guy in touch, and you need to stay with this guy. This guy will take you far, guys. 100,000,000%. This guy will take you far.
Just keep on liking, keep on listening. The show is for you guys, and the reason I have these guests on the show, I'm really. This happens a couple of times that they have this inferiority complex. They don't want to ask questions. That's the fucking thing that I want. You need to ask questions. It could be a fucking broken question, but
be like a child. Just be like a child. Just have that sense of curiosity. Have the sense of curiosity. My 100%. My 5-year-old little girl. She's constantly asking questions, constantly, to the point where I can't even take another fucking question. So have that childlike sense of curiosity, because at the end of the day, even if you have a stupid question, all the other people who may think it's stupid, they wanted to know the fucking answer to the question as well. And no, in a way, no question is stupid, because one question may lead to another question, may lead to an answer, may lead to another question, and that may lead to something powerful. That may lead to something of value. And this is why you need to follow this guy. You need to follow Sarav. And thank you by the way, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Come on. I thank you, my man. I mean, the day I saw the cold calling group, I said, dude, I want him as a fucking guest, because I could talk. I also, this is not only for my followers, this is also for me, because I'm new to this. I don't know anything about sales. I'm a year into this game, but as you said, I'm a fucking baby, so I need to learn. So I said, you guys have been doing it for 18 years. It's quite inspiring.
Bro, it's the awareness. And listen, stop saying you're nervous as well, because what happens is, if you use certain words, certain negative connotations, then what happens is, with the psychology of the brain, it makes you have your physical disposition will be slumped. You know, you'll be down. Your head will be down. You know, you got to look yourself in the mirror, Sarav. You got to be like, I got to make this fucking shit happen. Like, I literally got to put food on the table, whether it's for my mum, whether it's for my kids, whether it's for myself. I got to make this shit fucking happen. Make it fucking happen, bro.
That's the word of the day, ladies and gentlemen. There's a sentence of the day. Make it fucking happen. I want you guys to comment down below, 100%. Put a hashtag behind it, and let it fucking trend.
Go viral.
Go viral.
Make it fucking happen. Yeah, I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Stead. Now give it up for him.
No.
Again.
Social distancing, bro. You got to pow. There's no handshakes anymore in fucking 2020.
Oh, that's why you do the fist bump.
That's why. No, this fist bump, I've been doing it since before the fucking virus, bro. Trust me.
So this is his Facebook page. If you guys
is that the face? No, that's the page. Yeah, the Facebook page, the Life and Times of the Boiler Room. So this is my blog. So this is something that it's a personal blog, and if you scroll down, it's got a lot of value. I put clips of sales films in there. I put motivational.
You're cool.
It's beautiful. You guys should check him out. Get some motivation. If you just try and learn from these people, man. I'm telling you, you guys could find a newfound passion. For fuck's sake.
And join the fucking group as well. Join the cold calling.
Yeah. Cold Calling Pro.
Cold Calling Pro
group. You guys can learn a lot about sales, and you can just look at it happen. That's how we're gonna learn. But we just touched the hour mark. It was great meeting you, Charles.
You too, bro.
I wish you all the best with the Cold Calling Pro group.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
See you.
All
right, guys. See you.